What happens when a blood droplet falls and a newscast screams about a fugitive? Rex gasps for breath, his blonde hair disheveled beneath his scarf. A hooded figure beside him trembles with fear. The urgency in their voice is unmistakable. They must flee from this house. Now, Rex coughs violently, blood staining his clothes as danger closes in. Boom! The explosion tears through the night, flames engulfing everything in sight. Rex lies on the ground, singed and exhausted from the blast. Behind him, a house burns like a funeral pyre. He struggles to breathe, each gasp a battle. But in this moment of desperation, someone speaks with dark confidence. I think this is the end of the road for me. Under a full moon, two silhouettes embrace amidst the flames. Time shifts like smoke. 6 months later, the same Rex drives through desert roads, his Rottweiler companion beside him. The journey begins in Glory City, they said. But little does Rex know, his brother's killer waits in that sprawling metropolis ahead. Rex chats with a friendly driver, his red mask and fur-lined jacket standing out against the desert heat. He's from the frozen north, still dressed for snow. The driver laughs about the city's size, biggest in the territory, he claims. Rex leans against the car window, cheerful despite the long journey. He's here for one reason, to visit his brother. The brown-hatted driver grins beneath his red mask. This city ain't the north, he warns Rex. It's totally infested with blanks. Rex questions this. He hasn't seen any in days. The driver's response is ominous. You'll see them soon enough. A cartoonish dog barks playfully, adding humor to the growing tension. Speak of the devils. The driver's grin turns sinister as they crest a hill. Below them stretches a nightmare. Hundreds of faceless, red-headed figures scattered across the desolate landscape. Rex stares in shock. He's never seen so many bodies in one place. The driver cheerfully explains why he blanketed the world as their red car speeds through this graveyard of identities. Rex enjoys the bizarre ride, driving through purple figures like it's a carnival game. His companion grips the dashboard in excitement. But then, bump, the driver loses control, chaos erupting around them. Rex jokes about being the only person who blanks out, while his dog barks from the back seat. Comedy and danger dance together on this surreal highway. Rex asks to be dropped off, but the friendly driver offers to take him all the way to the bridge. The conversation flows easily between them. Rex settles into the car with an awkward oof as he handles his bag. Schnee the dog pops up with enthusiastic barking, tail wagging with infectious energy. The driver finally asks for Rex's name, genuine interest in his voice. Rex introduces himself with confidence, standing proudly next to his massive Rottweiler companion. The sandy outskirts of Glory City stretch behind them, scattered with those eerie, featureless figures. His new friend welcomes him to the biggest blank population in the world. Rex waves at an approaching vehicle, but something about this city feels wrong. Very wrong. From their vantage point, Rex and Schnee gaze over the sprawling urban landscape. This is it, Glory City, better known as the City of Blank. The biggest blank population in the world spreads below them like a concrete maze. In the distance, children play with water guns, shouting, "Get the blank," and celebrating with splashes. Innocent games, or with something more sinister. The market bustles with life and hidden threats. A blond man laughs while playing games with his green-haired companion. But the TV broadcasts a chilling Face Watch segment. Amelia Sanders' face was stolen yesterday. An official mass distributor draws crowds seeking protection. An elderly woman feeds pigeons as purple shadows wander past. Someone declares, "You have TO, make a choice." Rex's patience snaps. "I'm giving you 10 seconds, he shouts at his companion. The brown-hatted character slams a door in defiant response. But moments later, the tension dissolves into comedy. Finally, about time, Rex celebrates as he hands over an ice cream cone. The simple pleasure of frozen treats somehow makes everything better in this twisted city. Rex excitedly debates ice cream flavors with his friends. What flavor should he get for Schnee? Standing beside his blonde and red-clad companions, each holding their own treat, Rex marvels at the city's kindness. Free ice cream for picking a flavor in under 10 seconds. His Rottweiler looks surprised, wide eyes reflecting confusion. Rex happily devours his reward, oblivious to the deeper game being played. In a vibrant park, Rex reflects on his transformation. Why did Makia summon him here? 6 months have passed since that burning night. He's changed, grown harder. Looking at his gloved hand, he realizes a troubling truth. He's becoming more like his brother every day. Beside him, his Rottweiler sits quietly, as if understanding the weight of this revelation. Two friends share a moment on a park bench. The green-haired boy holds his ice cream sadly, reflecting on how Makia was nice. His silver-haired companion tries to lighten the mood, joking about the hellish heat compared to home. A playful dog appears, slurping ice cream and bonking the man's head. Laughter erupts despite the earlier melancholy. Ice cream plops to the ground. A cartoonish bear devours the frozen treat with an enormous OMP. Rex sits on the bench with his Rottweiler, exasperated by recurring troubles. God damn it. Not again, he shouts, rattled and confused. Question marks surround his bewildered expression. Then a cheerful figure in a large costume announces their presence. OH. Hi there. Don't mind me. Chaos erupts as Schnee the Rottweiler yanks something away, collar jangling as he runs. The masked character in purple sighs, frustrated by their role as trainer. Weren't you specially trained to warn me about blanks? They ask. Schnee responds with an innocent arf. The bond between them shines through despite the light-hearted mayhem. I love you too, comes the warm reply. A loud crack shatters the peaceful park atmosphere. Schnee's dog reacts with surprise, ears perked. Rex appears anxious, drawn by the concerning noise. In the distance, someone frantically calls for help. Their mask has dropped and broken. The panicked figure clutches their face in despair, wide eyes reflecting pure terror as shadowy figures begin closing in around them. The green-haired character sits surrounded by menacing purple shadows, eyes wide with desperation. Someone, please help, they scream. Sound effects whoosh and shum around them as the faceless entities close in. Panic overtakes rational thought. I have to find a mask, they realize, hand covering their vulnerable face. Time is running out. The blanks are coming. A doll-shaped object flies through the air with a sharp whoosh. A girl with short dark hair turns in confusion, startled by the commotion. The purple figure crashes to the ground with a resonating thud, face planting into the dirt. It slides across the surface with a prolonged escale, legs bent and arms outstretched. The girl watches in anxious surprise as chaos unfolds before her eyes. Intense green eyes focus with deadly precision. The girl kneels on the ground, wide-eyed and disbelieving. Did someone just hit a blank? A figure in purple stands confidently before the menacing silhouettes, leaves scattering in the wind. Suddenly, a projectile rushes past with a dramatic whoosh, followed by the sharp impact of POW. The impossible has just happened. Rex backflips over a blank with a thunderous thwomp. Onlookers explode with excitement. He just struck a blank with bare hands. How is this possible? The dog-masked boy and blonde companion marvel at this impossible feat. Someone theorizes he didn't pass through the blank, but actually interacted with it. He must be a blank hunter, they whisper. But Rex panics internally. His secret is exposed. The green-haired character watches in confusion as the masked trio discusses anti-blank gear with excitement. Wolf Mask talks about blank-proof gloves while the crowd cheers for the mysterious blank hunter. But confusion reigns. I have no idea what these people are talking about. A shadow rushes past with a whoosh. Fear intensifies as a menacing figure prepares to stomp down on the helpless victim. Rex shouts urgently. There's no time to figure this out. The bird mask character calls for someone to cover the victim's face. The blonde boy with the bandaged head rallies everyone. You heard the blank hunter? Find a mask. A girl clenches her fist, determined to help. A doll-like figure zips through the air with SHOM, culminating in powerful wham and slam sound effects as the rescue attempt intensifies. Wham! A purple figure recoils from impact. The silver-haired boy in his dark suit watches as more blanks pour down the narrow path. They just keep coming. The distressed girl covers her face, desperately asking if anyone has found mask. Water suddenly splashes around a shocked purple figure. The wild blonde character with the bandaged cheek stares in confusion at the unexpected liquid. The girl in the white dress holds a hose, mask covering her face as she sprays water at the fallen blanks. Splash. "Hey, blank hunter," she calls to Rex. He acknowledges her warning about a blank sneaking behind him. "Thanks," he responds. But frustration builds. This is pointless. Rex realizes they need to cover faces, not just fight. The situation spirals beyond simple combat. The blonde girl in her white mask urgently shouts for the wolf-masked boy to use his jacket. "Oh, right," he responds, finally understanding. He tosses the garment while she catches it midair with a dynamic swoosh. The dark-haired girl pleads for them to hurry and get the jacket to the victim. Everyone moves with desperate coordination as the crisis deepens. A purple entity approaches the kneeling girl, who reaches out with curious dread. As contact is made, a shoem reverberates through the air. Her eyes widen in alarm, wonder and fear dancing across her face. The entity seems to connect with her in some otherworldly way. A critical SLRP sound accompanies their interaction, followed by a sudden gasp that echoes with dangerous implications. Determined eyebrows furrow in close-up. The dark-haired girl covers her face with both hands, distressed, sounds escaping her lips. MMF. She's in the grip of something terrible. The soft outdoor setting contrasts sharply with her emotional turmoil. Pain and confusion overwhelm her as the transformation begins. What is happening to this innocent victim? The girl continues her muffled cries of distress. MMF. And no. A worried boy in a purple hood peers from behind a tree, concerned about her condition. Near them, a small dog rolls playfully on the ground while someone in a light dress stands nearby. But the dog suddenly starts barking loudly. Bark. Arf. The boy nervously wonders if the aggressive sounds are directed at him. The purple-suited figure stands alert as chaos erupts around them. The blonde girl shouts for Schnee while the wolf-masked character panics about the black object. A massive ARF echoes as the purple silhouette stands dramatically against the sky. A pink-haired character runs forward as the girl kneels in distress, head buried in her hands. The blonde urgently calls for something sharp to open an airway. The masked girl volunteers to find something to help while Rex watches the victim with growing alarm. At this rate, she's going to suffocate. Blood drips from her hand as she grips something green and sharp. The situation has become life or death. With no other choice, she shouts with desperate determination, "Out of the way." Emergency action is the only option left. The blonde with the white mask raises a green object, preparing for emergency surgery. "Hold!" she commands as the dark-haired victim gasps in pain. MMF. The word stab appears as the makeshift tool pierces through. A collective gasp fills the air. The blonde pants with relief. Phew. Rex sits anxiously nearby, his purple mask unable to hide his concern. Is she going to be okay? The masked girl confirms the airway is open while the bandaged blonde boy waves enthusiastically. "Hey, lady." Someone comforts the victim as sirens wail in the distance. "WE woo, WE." The ambulance arrives as dusk settles over the city. Relief spreads through the group. "Thanks for keeping it back there," someone says as the immediate crisis passes into grateful exhaustion. In the aftermath, Lives introduces herself to Rex, her white mask and ponytail distinctive in the green outdoor setting. She's excited to meet her first blank hunter, expressing her own ambitions to join their ranks. Rex touches his gloves as she marvels at the anti-blank gear. Their conversation flows with curiosity and wonder about the equipment that supposedly makes fighting blanks possible. Live suddenly shouts, "Say Cheney," in worry. Rex asks what a Schnee is, and she explains urgently. "He's my dog. They need to find him immediately." A bald man with orange sunglasses casually approaches, asking if they're looking for a big, fat Rottweiler. Lives looks shocked at this news, fear creeping into her voice as she realizes Schnee might be in danger. A robust man rushes past, shouting about owing someone a hot dog. Lives points excitedly. "Over there." spotting a masked figure peeking from behind a door in the alley. The mysterious character appears, startled by intense barking sounds echoing from nearby. Bark, arf, RAWF. The sounds intensify as they get closer to whatever situation awaits them in the shadows. A large dog snarls menacingly, teeth bared as RAWF echoes through the confined space. The character in the sleek black suit trembles with terror, clutching themselves defensively. Someone with yellow hair panics, shouting the blank. The fear is palpable as the dog continues growling, while the frightened figure hunches over, overwhelmed by the threatening presence before them. The nervous character in the black bodysuit shivers, exclaiming about the blank, while a fluffy dog shows its menacing side. Lives realizes the significance of their discovery with excitement. I can't believe we actually found it. Her mask gleams as she declares that this means they can still get a reward. Hope and fear intertwine as they contemplate their next move in this dangerous game. Rex learns about the cruel reward system. Money for turning and developing blanks who have stolen faces and are becoming human. The girl with the white mask stands defensively while Rex expresses his disgust. Isn't that kind of cruel? He asks, looking at the scared and confused victim. An aggressive character questions Rex's defense, tension rising in the graffiti-strewn alley as moral lines are drawn.
The blonde girl explains the horror of identity theft. This entity stole not just a woman's face, but her entire identity. A hooded figure listens as she describes how blanks steal everything: memories, secrets, experiences. The green-eyed girl with black hair absorbs this information as the weight of what these creatures truly take becomes clear. They steal souls, not just faces.
The skull-masked character speaks passionately about the victim's stolen identity, blood spattering the background as emotions run high. Think of the family who almost lost her, they argue. Think about how they'd feel knowing this thing walks around with her identity. The large dog growls threateningly, "Grrrr," as the speaker delivers their haunting conclusion. Think about you being one of the lucky ones. Rex places a commanding hand on Schnee's head, trying to quiet the menacing dog. The protagonist pleads not to be hurt while a larger figure looms nearby. Rex explains that a blank's face can be removed within 24 hours, apologizing as he prepares to act. The blonde character sarcastically suggests getting a normal face instead. Suddenly, wham, followed by a balloon flying through the air with whoosh. The white-masked girl shouts "HEY" at a floating mask-like object. A faceless figure stands silently, hunched and mysterious. She accidentally bumps into it, expressing surprise and regret. "I'm sorry," she says as tension fills the air. Someone explains that blanks have no awareness before they steal a face, revealing the tragic nature of these entities. A lighter ignites with flickering flame as Rex stares at the ground in despair. The faceless figure confidently claims they could steal the woman's identity easily. Rex shrugs off concerns about money. That's not what this is about. When called a blank rights activist, he sighs in frustration. At least it was good practice for becoming a blank hunter. His hand throbs with hidden pain. Throb. Lives grimaces in pain, her skull mask unable to hide her discomfort. "That thing's really stinging now." Rex asks when she got hurt, and she explains she cut herself on glass while helping the earlier blank victim. Rex searches for a bandage while Schnee barks playfully. He jokes that the dog has tasted blood, bringing a moment of levity to their painful situation. A gloved hand offers a bandage, a simple gesture of care. Lives respond with surprise. Oh. She gratefully accepts the help, thanking the mysterious benefactor. Reflecting on their earlier conversation about her aspirations, she admits it was interesting to meet them. Despite her reservations about the idea, she wishes Rex good luck in becoming a blank hunter and waves goodbye in the gritty urban alley. Lives playfully boasts that she's tough to steal a face from, while Rex shows exasperation with a sweat drop. But his mood shifts as he contemplates being in an unfamiliar city. Dread surrounds him like ghostly wisps as a terrible realization hits. This city is going to kill me. The sunset sky transitions to ominous buildings as someone off-panel shares disturbing news about what's in town. Two characters discuss bizarre rumors in a dimly lit stairwell. The green-haired boy excitedly talks about scary anti-blank gear, while his skeptical companion questions whether such products even exist. Blank Corp doesn't make anything like that, he argues. Suddenly, a mysterious man in a striking red suit approaches, his footsteps echoing ominously. We certainly don't, he says, demanding more information about this blank hunter. Claude expresses concern about Mr. Kastner, while EGR dismisses the rumors as hearsay. They discuss reports of someone fighting blanks with bare hands and claws. In the shadows, a masked figure in a swirling design listens intently before revealing himself in a red suit under the moonlit sky. He mentions releasing those damn hounds, his plan finally set in motion. What deadly game has Rex stumbled into? Peace never lasts long in this cursed city. A shrill alarm pierces the morning quiet as blonde hair spills across rumpled sheets. Live stirs from restless sleep, fatigue etched into her features. But duty calls. She reaches for the red remote, blue slippers finding cold floor as she prepares to face another day in the city of blank. Water pressure, such a mundane thing. Yet in this city, even shower routines hide desperate measures. Lives adjust the dial, unleashing a torrential cascade that crashes down like a liquid barrier. Through the curtain of rushing water, she spots a familiar silhouette. Desmond. Her voice carries both recognition and the weight of their strange new reality. Morning normalcy feels like rebellion against the city's chaos. Desmond stands cheerfully at the stove, his blue mask unable to hide his genuine warmth. The sizzle of breakfast fills the bright kitchen as he calls to Lives, presenting a plate that gleams with care. But even this simple gesture carries deeper meaning, feeding hope when the world devours souls. Claude's interrogation cuts through breakfast pleasantries like a knife. His muscular frame tenses beneath the gray mask as he demands answers from EGR about yesterday's violence. How do you hurt something that shouldn't exist? EGER's casual response about cutting faces and becoming a professional blank hunter sends chills through the room. Even ice cream can't sweeten such dark ambitions. Hope dashes away as quickly as Lives sprints from the kitchen, excitement masking Claude's growing concern. His weathered face reveals the burden of keeping her safe from her blank hunter fantasies. Outside, Desmond walks with flowers, speaking to another figure. I saved a life yesterday, he says simply. But in the city of blank, yesterday's heroism might be tomorrow's curse. The market bustles with organic promises and hidden frustrations. Behind ghost masks and casual banter lies deeper pain. Missed opportunities, unpaid debts, blank visitors who steal more than faces. When free fruit samples appear, even the weight of yesterday's failures momentarily lifts. A dog holds a coupon in its mouth, adding whimsy to a world that desperately needs it. Kitchen arguments explode over missed rent and sacrifice dresses. The blue-masked figure's irritation clashes with rabbit-like defensiveness as bills become weapons. Then Desmond enters, the medic who patches wounds he didn't create. But before healing can fully take hold, a small creature bursts in, barking loudly, reminding everyone that chaos always finds a way inside. EGR holds food like a peace offering while Rex, that muscular, porcine-faced creature, growls with intimidating teeth and a spiked collar. Bad schnee, EGR chides playfully. The confusion about masks resembling blanks draws nervous laughter. In this twisted city, even protective gear becomes a source of suspicion. What happens when you can't tell friend from face-stealing monster? A bald man in red goggles enters with grocery bags and questions, claiming debt over stolen hot dogs. The masked figure explains repayment with interest, but the numbers don't add up. When debt becomes highway robbery and kindness becomes exploitation, how do you tell the difference? Dude, you're being scammed, someone warns. Truth has a way of surfacing. Money changes hands at Mary's Organics as overtime becomes unexpected kindness. The white-haired figure receives payment for sleeping on benches, while a humorous dog interrupts with threats to devour the store. Even in transactions built on confusion, human compassion finds ways to bloom. Extra cash for those who need it most. Small mercies in a merciless city.
Rex's elaborate mask betrays his homelessness as Desmond offers shelter with characteristic generosity. But appearances deceive in the city of blank. Quality doesn't equal wealth, and survival takes many forms. When a small dog humorously suggests Rex might be a murderer, nervous laughter fills the room. Sometimes the most innocent observations cut deepest. EGR stomps the ground as Rex responds with exaggerated ferocity, all sharp teeth and theatrical growls. The urban landscape watches this strange dance between human and beast, comedy masking deeper bonds. When the muscular Rottweiler finally sits contentedly, belly exposed in trust, their relationship reveals itself. Even monsters need family. Tension crackles through the air as four masked figures react to a brown dog's aggressive stance. Its ears perk up, tail raised, growling with primal intensity that sets everyone on edge. The silver-haired character freezes, recognition dawning. That symbol. Something familiar lurks in the chaos. When even dogs become harbingers of forgotten memories, the past refuses to stay buried. The confrontation explodes as the dog launches itself forward, all fury and snapping jaws. The white-haired figure reels back, eyes wide with shock as bristled fur and snarls fill the frame. Teeth flash, growls intensify, then impact, a thunderous wham that echoes through the chaos. When recognition becomes violence, even memories can bite back. A large yellow dog skids across the ground, muscles rippling beneath its coat as Rex watches, leash in hand. Two canines circle each other like gladiators, snarls and barks echoing through the park. When jaws snap and a sickening crunch fills the air, Desmond's alarmed cry pierces the violence. Someone do something! But who intervenes when beasts remember what humans try to forget? EGR soars through the air, cape billowing as he shouts at the muscular Rottweiler. Rex growls back, then stands confused with a towel draped over his head like some bizarre costume. The scene shifts from intimidation to absurdity as frustrated voices clash and Lives receives an urgent warning. Then crack. Violence punctuates the comedy, reminding everyone that play can turn deadly in an instant. Gasping for breath, the silver-haired figure cradles an anxious puppy while debris litters the ground around them. Nobody, he whispers, exhaustion etched in every line. The black-masked figure rushes to help, concern overriding everything else. When the puppy whimpers, reality crashes back. We need to get him to a vet right away. Time becomes the enemy. Frustration boils over as the white-haired figure demands answers from a dazed dog with spiraled eyes. This can't be the way things are supposed to be. But the sunset backdrop reveals deeper truths through television screens and bitter commentary. A black and tan dog, bandaged and annoyed, speaks the universal truth. All I agreed to was bandaging up your dog's paw. Good intentions rarely stay simple. In the cozy living room, domestic tension simmers beneath polite conversation. The purple-masked figure in formal attire announces their expanding household with barely concealed irritation. Desmond protests, citing Shun's injury and Rex's homelessness, while skull-masked figure attempts damage control. But excitement over Stella Kingley's TV appearance shifts the mood from domestic drama to shared obsession. EGR's annoyance is palpable as he declares, "Not this again." But curiosity wins as the blonde girl asks about Stella Kingley. The room fills with admiration for Blank City's greatest hunter, 500 captures and counting. When heroes become inspiration and inspiration becomes obsession, the line between protection and destruction blurs. Dreams can be as dangerous as nightmares. At Glory City Animal Control, the silver-haired figure continues gasping while his blue-masked companion sits in concern. Sunset paints the scene orange as a man in khaki discusses Blair Court property and troublesome callers. A green door clicks open, bureaucracy moving slowly while urgency pounds in every heartbeat. When corporate ownership meets personal crisis, paperwork becomes torture. Exasperation echoes through the facility as the white-haired figure confronts reality once again. This can't be the way things are supposed to be. Inside, a blonde youth in a red sweater worries about Claude's mental state while caged dogs rest wearily. Meanwhile,
A hooded figure expresses deep admiration for Kingsley, dreams and desperation intertwining. Hope and madness often wear the same mask. In the bright living room, Rex's ignorance about blank hunters becomes a teaching moment. The blonde figure explains with patience while the purple-haired character responds with amused disbelief. Someone who hunts blanks with stolen faces, she clarifies, as if it's the most natural thing in the world. When hunting monsters becomes a career choice, society's foundations have already crumbled. EGER's enthusiasm for advanced weapons reveals the brutal reality beneath heroic fantasies. Flamethrowers and specialized gear designed to tear developing blanks apart paint a horrifying picture of sanctioned violence. When the conversation turns to captured blanks' fate, tension thickens. It goes to the island, comes the ominous answer. Some destinations are worse than death. The island revelation hits like a physical blow. Chitty, a prison where thousands of blanks endure endless torment, surrounded by water that destroys their sanity. The blue-masked figure explains this institutional horror with clinical detachment while storm clouds gather outside. The silver-haired figure clenches his fist, understanding dawning. Some solutions are more monstrous than the problems they claim to solve. In the television studio, Glory City's masked hero speaks with practiced confidence about making streets safe again. 19 blanks from breaking last year's record, yet she claims records aren't the goal. The reporter presses about unusual sightings while a dark-haired figure observes. When heroism becomes performance and safety becomes statistics, who decides what justice looks like? The interview continues as the blonde figure asks thoughtful questions about blank sightings. A horned character begins to respond when suddenly, click, the scene shifts to Desmond's cheerful announcement that dinner is ready. Steam rises from a delicious stew as excitement over his cooking momentarily drowns out discussions of monsters and heroes. Food brings people together, even in the darkest times. Dinner is served in the cozy dining area as Rex reveals his origins. Merrill, a small northern town nobody's heard of, where cold weather shapes character. The green-skinned host shows genuine interest while the blonde girl smiles at her meal. But Rex stirs his food skeptically, as if even kindness might be a trap. When you've lost everything, trust becomes the hardest thing to swallow. The dinner conversation takes a devastating turn as Rex reveals his true mission. My brother was murdered, and I'm here to figure out why. The words hang heavy in the warm air as three faces register shock and concern. When grief becomes quest and family becomes memory, the simple act of sharing a meal transforms into something profound. Truth has a way of changing everything. Shock ripples through the room as multiple voices echo. What? The revelation hits like a thunderclap, Rex's intense expression revealing the pain behind his mask. Three figures process this bombshell with wide eyes and dropped jaws. When someone drops their deepest trauma into casual conversation, how do you respond? Some truths shatter normalcy beyond repair. Questions multiply faster than answers as the dinner guests struggle to process Rex's revelation. The blonde figure nervously suggests police involvement, while the gray-masked man insists you can't drop bombshells without expecting questions. Rex retreats, clearly regretting his honesty. Can we just change the subject? When pain becomes public, privacy becomes precious.
Rex's vulnerability shows as he apologizes and pleads for a subject change. His white hair with purple streaks frames a face etched with regret at revealing too much. The masked figure responds with genuine concern, acknowledging they stepped out of line. It's fine, really, but enough about me for now. When walls come down too quickly, rebuilding them becomes survival. The conversation shifts as Desmond shares his military background, field medic in the Jungle Wars. His tattoo tells stories of service, while Rex shows sudden interest in the possibility of their brothers crossing paths. But even casual conversation carries weight in this city. As night settles, a playful Rottweiler's joy contrasts sharply with a mysterious figure's startled reaction to its barking. Chaos erupts as Rex extends his hand in surprise, panic spreading through the room. God damn it, not again. It touched me. The masked figure's distress is palpable as orange goo splatters nearby.
A startled character questions the confusion, while another provides calm reassurance. The blank didn't face your face. You're safe. When reality blurs with nightmare, safety becomes relative. Under the star-filled night sky, anxiety permeates the air as masked figures huddle together, their nervous glances revealing shared fear. The urban landscape looms ominously as two boys approach a facility marked private property. Growls and barks echo from the shadows, suggesting something sinister awaits. When childhood innocence meets institutional horror, even the night itself seems to hold its breath. Inside the training facility, confidence masks underlying tension as a brown-haired character in a red X mask explains their progress. Dogs only react aggressively to blanks, he claims, while the suited figure in red observes with growing concern. You morons realize what the blank found in their feet, right? Control is an illusion when dealing with forces beyond comprehension. The well-dressed man in red demands updates on special subjects trained to detect unusual blank specimens. His mask can't hide mounting frustration as the Xmar character admits limited feedback. Then urgent news arrives. Subject DC was just brought in from animal control. A brick to the head changes everything. When experiments escape control, chaos follows close behind.
A smirk plays beneath the swirling mask as the blonde figure in the red suit processes this development. Sounds like we may have found something interesting. The scene shifts to a surveillance facility under mint green lighting, clinical and cold. When interest becomes obsession and observation becomes hunting, the line between science and madness disappears entirely.
In the surveillance room's electronic glow, a bird-masked figure explains the dog's conditioning while his nervous companion types frantically at the keyboard. Multiple monitors display the bustling city as they search for their target. This dog was trained to only attack if it detected him. When a playful yellow dog appears on screen, the command rings out, "Pause." The hunt has begun. The pale figure's anxiety is palpable as he points at the screen while his green-haired companion leans casually nearby. They've identified their target, a purple mask with a cross that everyone's been discussing. The one we're looking for is that new blank. Recognition dawns with chilling clarity. When surveillance becomes certainty, privacy becomes extinction. Television screens flicker with mass silhouettes as a spiky-haired youth watches with growing anxiety. His wide eyes and open mouth reveal mounting fear as he processes what he's witnessing. An older boy with purple hair grins slyly, noting his companion's distraction. Someone zoned out. When reality becomes performance and performance becomes nightmare, who controls the script? Rain pounds the jungle outpost as two boys engage in playful banter about humidity and heat. The dark-haired figure complains about the draining atmosphere, while his blue-haired companion seems more adapted to this harsh environment. Despite the weather's assault, there's warmth in their relationship, the kind that survives when everything else is stripped away by war and weather.
Through the relentless rain, the pale-haired boy finds unexpected joy. "It's the first time I've gotten to feel rain on my face," he says, contentment washing over his features. "It feels good." The scene shifts to a sleeping figure in a colorful mask, peaceful in slumber. Sometimes the simplest pleasures become the most precious when you've been denied them. In the quiet room, Rex contemplates incomplete memories while everyone else sleeps around him. A black dog rests peacefully on the floor as shadows suggest lurking presence. His thoughts turn dark, flashbacks of trauma and the universal pain that blanks have inflicted on this city's residents. Seems like everyone in this city has had a bad experience with blanks. Shared suffering creates strange bonds.
Staring out at the night cityscape, Rex feels the weight of impossible decisions. "I need to leave." The words carry finality as he contemplates the danger his presence brings to innocent people. "I can't keep endangering these people." When protection means abandonment and love means letting go, heroism becomes the loneliest burden of all. The internal struggle intensifies as Rex prepares to leave before Mikhail's hunters find him. But a small, anxious dog appears, whimpering with the kind of loyalty that transcends species. "I don't want to leave you." The confession escapes him. When duty conflicts with love,
Even the strongest resolve can crumble. Some bonds refuse to break.
The purple-haired boy interacts playfully with a grinning dog mascot, while his pale companion crosses his arms in disapproval. I'm not paying for another mouth to feed. Defensive protests about breaching contracts mix with deeper questions about identity. When survival becomes transactional, even friendship requires negotiation. The truth always demands its price. Rex leans against the wall, blue mask unable to hide his impatience as he demands answers. The white-haired figure with the purple cross mask finally breaks, sighing in defeat. I'm a blank. That's what you need to heal, right? The confession hits like a thunderbolt. When monsters reveal themselves as victims, the entire world shifts beneath your feet. Rex's shock is palpable as he processes this revelation. You can't just throw that at me like it's normal. His blue mask can't hide his bewilderment while the light-haired figure chuckles and walks away casually. You do realize you just told everyone. When secrets become casual conversation, the weight of truth becomes unbearable. Some revelations change everything forever. Behind closed doors, corporate machinery churns as files reveal disturbing connections. A blue-skinned figure curses while documents expose that Desmond Gray was once part of their operation, a developing blank with a clear debt and a hidden past. The red, devil-masked authority figure processes this betrayal. When allies become enemies and employees become targets, trust becomes the deadliest weapon of all. Deep within corporate corridors, a blonde executive in a red suit examines disturbing documents with growing fascination. But as the implications hit him, his composure shatters completely. His fist slams against the desk with explosive force. Meanwhile, in the sterile waiting area of Clinic Kingdom, a figure with a paper bag over their head sits in crushing defeat. Their shoulders slump as bitter reality sets in. In a pastel-colored safe house, two unlikely companions share an awkward moment. The purple-haired girl lounges casually on the light blue couch, clearly amused by their predicament. Across from her sits Rex, his blue mask unable to hide his rigid discomfort as he introduces himself simply as blank. Her response cuts through the tension like a blade. Even his chosen name embarrasses him now. Rex demands answers with crossed arms and steely determination. The white-haired figure responds with casual indifference, claiming ignorance about how his peculiar clothes protect against blank detection. Frustration builds as Rex questions the effectiveness of this mysterious attire. The response is maddeningly simple. He's worn these clothes for as long as he can remember. Some secrets refuse logical explanation. The blue-skinned Desmond faces desperate pleading from his companion, who begs for crucial information. But exhaustion wins over curiosity. Desmond announces his intention to sleep, turning away from the questions. A door closes. "Wait," comes the desperate cry. The conversation shifts to memories of a base, someone with a specific face. The weight of the past hangs heavy in the air. In contemplative silence, the blonde figure listens as Desmond reveals fragments of a larger truth. A big base, someone he never met personally but heard whispers about. The atmosphere grows darker when the conversation turns to death, what they did to his friend. Then comes the question that changes everything. Why does this boy's face match that of a murder suspect? The shadows deepen. Desmond reads the newspaper article about researcher Jericho's death in a fire, dismissing it as old news. But Rex challenges everything, revealing that none of the reported facts are true. Confusion spreads across Desmond's features as he demands clarification. The silver-haired boy delivers the bombshell. Michaela didn't die at all. Reality crumbles when official stories become elaborate lies. Rex expresses doubt, his uncertainty bleeding through every word. The masked Desmond presents a grim reality. Mikian believed he would never commit such crimes, but belief doesn't change the fact that the man disappeared. As Rex gains Mikian's memories, the truth will become clearer, or more horrifying. The conversation turns ominous as they delve deeper into borrowed memories and stolen identities. The revelation hits like a thunderbolt. Someone killed Mikier. Desmond processes this stark fact as Rex explains the deadly chain of events. Mikier knew something that cost him his life, and now those same people hunt Rex for inheriting those dangerous memories. The stakes crystallize in terrifying clarity. They must move before the conversation becomes their last. Knowledge has become a death sentence. Under the harsh glare of streetlights, Rex stands in his golden coat, disbelief written across his features. Desmond's urgent warning cuts through the night air. They're 3 stories up. The danger of their elevated position becomes sickeningly clear. In the urban darkness below, safety seems impossibly distant. Some escapes require more than courage. They demand faith in gravity's mercy. The skull-masked figure boasts cheerfully about his bizarre composition, just skin and random organs, claiming to have donated a kidney recently. His macabre humor hangs awkwardly in the air. On the moonlit rooftop, Desmond looks down at the city below, preparing his descent. The night sky watches as casual conversations about body parts give way to serious urban navigation. Even in darkness, someone is always watching. In the oppressive quiet, Rex's anxiety explodes into desperate questions. Why aren't they talking? The silence feels like a trap. Facing the experienced war veteran Desmond, Rex voices his growing suspicion about potential betrayal. Desmond reflects grimly on the unique dangers of Rex's condition. Even he cannot fully control a faceless blank like Rex. Some powers are too dangerous for anyone to master completely. Rex teasingly questions Desmond's intelligence while explaining the twisted logic of their situation. Developing blanks don't need to worry about having their faces stolen. A cruel irony. Under the streetlight's glow, Desmond processes this revelation with growing frustration. Rex suggests they remove their masks and feel the breeze. But some protections exist for reasons that go deeper than comfort. Freedom has its own terrible price.
In the golden lamplight, Desmond poses a provocative question. Whose face did Rex steal? The inquiry hangs heavy with implications. Rex casually asks for Desmond's story in return, maintaining his relaxed demeanor despite the tension. Desmond's response is dismissively simple yet chilling. He claims to be an average blank who saw a face and took it. At his feet lies a discarded mask, a reminder of identities abandoned.
The skull-masked figure strikes a confident pose, admitting to his developmental struggles with sheepish humor. Against the city skyline, another character recognizes him with obvious annoyance. The nighttime backdrop adds weight to their reunion. He explains his unique ability to absorb other faces' memories, making each night feel dreamlike. When identity becomes fluid, reality loses its anchor points. Desmond explains his decision-making carries personal stakes, revealing his difficulty with emotional vulnerability. Rex's frustration boils over as he dismisses the sentimental approach, comparing Desmond to the annoying Makia. The tension escalates when Desmond decides to let Rex handle the situation. A thunderous wham shatters the air as conflict explodes between them. Understanding requires more than words. Sometimes it demands force. In the shadowy alley, a masked operative with a geometric face pattern receives brutal orders from a stern figure in red. The command is absolute. Retrieve Mikahai's face, no matter what it takes. The operative nods in compliance, feeling the crushing weight of eternal debt. A blade is offered as a last resort, its metal gleaming with deadly promise. Some missions leave no room for mercy or hesitation. Under the full moon's silver glow, the city sleeps beneath a deceptively peaceful sky. Inside, Rex wraps himself in a light blue blanket, but comfort proves elusive. His trembling betrays inner turmoil as vulnerability seeps through his defenses. He sits up with anxious eyes fixed on the window, a small whimper escaping his lips. Even blankets cannot shield against the fears that haunt the darkness. A blonde figure with a blue blindfold peeks around the doorway, calling impatiently for Schnee. Through the snowy cityscape window, a rotund dog with a spiked collar responds with excited barking. The girl in white attempts to calm the situation while a shadowy figure in blue observes from the background. The dog's enthusiasm contrasts sharply with the tension filling the dimly lit room. In the bright apartment, Rex vents his frustration about mysterious stains that refuse to disappear. His disgust is palpable as he stretches dramatically, producing exaggerated sounds of annoyance. The playful mood shifts as he sticks out his tongue mockingly before addressing his companion. He suggests that both he and the dog can be saved from their previous betrayal. The Rottweiler barks in apparent agreement with their unconventional alliance.
A blonde woman with glasses lies contemplatively in bed, questioning the strange feelings overwhelming her as moonlight filters through the window. The scene shifts abruptly to an urban night where masked figures express shock at something on the ground. A mysterious character with a square mask and plaid scarf waves cheerfully, creating an unsettling contrast. The warmly lit alley suggests an approaching confrontation or mission. The geometric masked character extends their hand, declaring it blank while the blonde figure looks puzzled. Realization dawns as the confused character points assertively, declaring they have no money and suggesting the masked figure find employment instead. The conversation takes a humorous turn as they question whether their situations are truly comparable. A notebook and lamp suggest new ideas forming amid their lighthearted exchange. The blindfolded character continues their complaints about the inadequate dinner, receiving only scraps instead of proper food. The scene transitions to show someone holding a knife defensively, their yellow tunic and brown coat suggesting they're prepared for confrontation. A sharp THOK sound effect punctuates the tension as they call out a chilling ultimatum. Anyone willing to die should reveal themselves now. Dinner conversations have taken a deadly turn. Under the harsh streetlight, a masked figure pleads desperately with two threatening characters, insisting there are alternatives to mugging people. Sweat beads on his face as his earnest appeal meets cold stares from the hooded figures. His shock is palpable as he mutters in disbelief. The bitter realization hits him like a sledgehammer. They're all idiots. Some people choose violence when reason should prevail. In an elegantly lit room, the blonde figure in burgundy gestures animatedly, expressing frustration about being dragged into this mess. The devil-masked character stands calmly at the doorway, dismissing the accusation with a raised finger. A knock echoes as urgency builds. He needs someone trustworthy to help them. Both characters recognize the gravity of their situation as they begin moving together. Trust becomes their most valuable currency. The bird-masked figure declares with vicious disdain that the memories growing in this fool's brain are worth more than the listener's entire existence. Their warning carries deadly weight. There will be hell to pay if this mission fails. The scene darkens as we see a hooded figure through the speaker's perspective, suggesting contemplation or fear. The word present blazes across the screen, signaling a crucial transition in their narrative. The blindfolded character's impatience explodes as they demand real dinner instead of scraps. Their companion, masked and determined, grips a knife while declaring they must trust others to handle the situation. The commitment is absolute, no matter what the cost. Golden tones bathe the scene in dramatic urgency as their conversation reinforces the weight of the decisions ahead. Some trusts require absolute faith. Rex reaches out desperately to the knife-wielding figure, expressing empathy for the struggles of a developing blank. He reveals his own identity, claiming kinship with his would-be attacker. The masked figure glares with quiet menace, unmoved by the emotional appeal. From the shadows, another character smirks confidently, noting how easily Rex fell for their desperate manipulation. Empathy becomes a weapon when wielded by predators. A red-gloved hand reaches for the knife as voices plead for peaceful disarmament. The masked character's agitation explodes into repeated shouts that events must unfold as planned, no matter what. Swift movement follows as someone takes decisive action. Rex reacts with visible shock while the bag-headed figure unexpectedly offers an apology. The snatch echoes through the tense atmosphere as control shifts between desperate hands. The bird-masked character exclaims about limited options while skillfully kicking the knife away, its clatter echoing through the shadows. Desmond appears agitated as the blade is suddenly snatched up again. The masked figure's muscular build becomes prominent as they prepare for inevitable conflict. Despite their reluctance to fight, the circumstances leave no alternatives. Sometimes violence chooses you, regardless of your preferences. Desmond yanks forcefully on the chain connected to his opponent's pocket, the Y-N-K sound effect emphasizing his desperate effort. He demands release while gripping the metallic links. A gloved hand menacingly grips the knife in response.
Frustration explodes as Desmond realizes the futility. She's mostly blank space, making the blade ineffective against her ethereal form. The swipe cuts through air as aggression intensifies. Rex raises his hand urgently, shouting for the knife wielder to wait before taking violent action. The playful monster-like character calls out to Desmond as tension reaches its peak. Swift movements create whoosh and thud sound effects as bodies collide in the dimly lit urban space. The scene pulses with dramatic energy as bright lights punctuate the darkness. Punishment will be discussed later. Survival comes first. The green-masked figure's agitation continues as they insist events must follow their predetermined course. The blonde character in the red jacket stands confidently opposite, questioning whether the masked figure feels foolish for not recognizing him yet. The revelation comes like a thunderbolt. He calls out a single name that changes everything. Micah. Recognition dawns as the warm interior lighting casts deep shadows, enhancing the dramatic confrontation. In the industrial shadows, the bird-masked figure expresses disappointment, while the man in red smugly mentions the name Claude. Tension builds as the masked character contemplates this revelation. The question that follows cuts to the bone. How can Makia send letters to a blank before stealing his face? The red-suited man's confident smile suggests he holds more cards than anyone realizes. Some mysteries hide deeper conspiracies.
The yellow-faced character playfully hides his mouth while teasingly asking about ruining a little secret. The atmosphere shifts to serious concern as the masked character and brown-jacketed man process this revelation. The explanation unfolds. Rex isn't just anyone. He's something far more significant. A half-blank. The bright, colorful background contrasts sharply with the weight of this truth as realization spreads among the listeners.
Rex's shock is visible as the green-masked figure processes the familial revelation. The masked character reflects on their supposed bond, questioning if it's merely fabrication. Rex appears frustrated and dismissive, while his companion stands firm about deeper secrets. The truth emerges. They share the same mother, a fully developed blank. Their brother relationship wasn't fabricated. It's just more complicated than anyone imagined. Family ties transcend stolen faces. In a cluttered playroom, a blonde character with purple facial markings grins widely, announcing their readiness to begin a game. Their white and burgundy shirt contrasts with their mischievous expression as they charge toward a cupboard adorned with cartoon dinosaurs. The character in the red suit sits apprehensively on the patterned floor, looking bewildered. Count to 100 while I hide, comes the enthusiastic instruction. Childlike games mask deeper terrors. The light-haired boy playfully guides his red-suited friend, instructing him to cover his eyes. The masked figure protests dramatically about not having eyes to cover. In the cozy kitchen, a woman with an elegant dark bob enjoys freshly baked cookies, wishing Rex could try one. The warm domestic scene pulses with camaraderie as the boy's exaggerated wailing about his eyes adds humor. Acceptance blooms in the simplest moments. The flamboyant character holds a suitcase, speaking earnestly about mysteries involving blanks and jungle passages. Behind him, the red-masked figure crosses his arms defensively, pleading for the conversation to end. He insists he's content with the current situation, but the emotional response comes swiftly. You're my brother, Rex. The modest room bears witness to familial bonds that complicate everything. Brotherhood transcends masks and stolen identities.
Rex gestures earnestly, his wide eyes pleading for permission to help. The green-masked figure hesitates while holding a note marked T. Guilt weighs heavily as Rex reflects on his responsibility. It was his fault Micah went on that fatal trip in the first place. The final panel isolates the masked character in a stark spotlight, emphasizing their loneliness. Some guilt never fades, only deepens with time.
The confrontation explodes with accusations about stolen brotherhood. How could you steal your own brother's face? The blonde character appears shocked and defensive as the green-skinned accuser points dramatically. The revelation cuts deeper. Rex had full awareness when he took his brother's face, making the act even more horrifying. Warm lighting creates an absurd backdrop for this devastating accusation. Some betrayals defy comprehension. The masked character faces accusations about wearing stolen faces while maintaining actual bonds with the victims. The gray-skinned figure with the yellow triangle expresses shock at this revelation. The man in the red suit makes a cutting remark about hypocrisy, calling him Mr. Perez, a name that clearly strikes a nerve. The comparison to half-blanks and face-stealing cuts to the core of their shared condition. Some truths hurt everyone equally. Under the spotlight's harsh glare, the wild-haired character reflects seriously on their deep conversation. The masked figure expresses regret for getting emotionally carried away while acknowledging past hardships between Rex and his brother. But when asked about his true intentions, the man in the red suit reveals his cryptic agenda. To finish what Marion started, the revelation leaves the masked figure questioning everything they thought they knew. Rex's confusion explodes as he questions how this stranger knows about Makia, keeping him secret. The green masked figure reveals that Makia discovered something crucial before his death, something very important to the Blank Corporation. That discovery cost him his life. The offer comes with deadly weight. Join them, and they'll help uncover what Makia found. Knowledge killed once. It might kill again. The blonde character questions how the masked man knows his face's name, suspicion growing in his voice. When asked about Blankcorp, the masked figure explains their extensive presence throughout the city. But beneath their public facade lies a darker side the general public never sees. The document's symbol hints at deeper connections and hidden agendas. Corporate power operates in shadows most never penetrate. Rex explodes with fury, shouting bullshit at the corporate lies. The yellow-haired character asserts his first-hand knowledge of Blankcorp's predatory practices. The rectangular masked figure warns about their exploitation tactics. They support developing blanks only until integration, then demand lifelong debt repayment. Rex's anger boils over as he denounces the complete scam. Some corporations feed on desperation and vulnerability. In the green-lit alley, Rex and his red coat insist they offer comfortable lives and fair loans. But Desmond Gray stands firm, asserting his true name and identity. Rex pleads for Desmond to join them, claiming it's what Makia would have wanted. Desmond reflects on the strange nature of being a half-blank with a stolen face. The warm glow creates intimacy, while suspicion and resolve battle in the air. The green masked figure extends his gloved hand cautiously, expressing conditional trust in Rex's truthfulness. Rex reflects somberly on the implications while accepting the gesture of partnership. But as their hands connect, Rex delivers an ominous warning. Makia's ghost whispers that full truths remain hidden. Even in cooperation, mistrust lurks beneath the surface. Dead brothers make unreliable advisors. As a masked man extends his hand toward Rex, their grip tightens with an audible clench. Rex contemplates the familiar sensation, claiming Micah's ghost warns him about hidden truths. The tension explodes with a devastating BM as Rex launches forward to deliver a powerful blow. His stubborn determination blazes while his opponent braces for impact. Some negotiations require violence to reach understanding. Rex coughs in distress as his companion urgently shouts for Desmond to run. A bald character reacts with shock at the escalating threat. A foot dashes forward ominously as the sound effect dash punctuates the urgency. The bag-masked figure holds their weapon, muttering, "Damn it," in frustrated determination. The dimly lit industrial space becomes a battlefield where loyalty and survival collide. In the climactic standoff, Rex threatens Desmond with a gleaming knife while demanding submission. Desmond defiantly orders him to drop the weapon, refusing to yield. Suddenly, another character intervenes, calling Rex a useless piece of crap before pushing him away. The knife skids across the ground with a harsh skid as an unseen voice yells, "OI." The green streetlight illuminates their desperate struggle for survival and truth. What starts as a friendly exchange explodes into chaos. Claude calls out cheerfully, extending his hand in greeting. But that handshake becomes a weapon. The masked figure smirks with malicious glee before catching Claude completely off guard. One moment they're shaking hands. The next, Claude is gasping and coughing, realizing too late that this greeting was a trap. The arena erupts as bodies collide with bone-crushing force. The masked attacker moves like lightning, but his strike meets solid resistance.
A thunderous thud echoes as he hits the ground hard. Standing over him, the blonde defender's voice cuts through the chaos like ice. This doesn't concern you, he warns. But some battles choose their fighters. Desmond's composure cracks as the truth spills out. His hands shake as he confronts the devastating revelation about Blaircore. The moment you told me you were with them, he gasps. Every secret has its price. While one character examines evidence with military precision, Desmond's frustration boils over. Stop standing around, he demands. Time is running out. Rex grips the knife with white knuckles, his frustration bleeding through his helmet's visor. Damn it, he thinks as Desmond raises his hands in surrender. But this isn't capitulation, it's negotiation. You want me to save you? Rex threatens. Then take me to the woods, Desmond counters. Even with a blade at his throat, he's still calling the shots. Confidence radiates from the blonde figure as he turns the tables. You want me alive, right? He taunts, knowing he holds all the cards. His opponent lunges forward, but words become action in a heartbeat. A devastating kick connects with brutal precision. The muscular fighter's shock says it all. This masked stranger just proved he's more dangerous than anyone imagined. The arena becomes a comedy of errors as frustrations boil over. Stomp echoes through the space, but the blonde fighter has had enough. Stop kicking people, he shouts, pointing accusingly at his opponent. Irony strikes immediately as he charges forward and collides headfirst with his target. Bonk. Stars spiral in his vision, but his pride remains intact. Those were nothing, he declares. Words become weapons as old wounds tear open. The blonde fighter delivers both a physical kick and an emotional blow. POW resonates through the air, but his words cut deeper. You're as much of a nuisance as your brother was, he snarls. The masked opponent recoils, not from the impact, but from the cruel comparison. I thought you two were friends, comes the wounded response.
Rex's retaliation comes swift and brutal. POW echoes as his fist connects with satisfying force. How do you like getting hit in the head? He mocks, watching his opponent gasp and struggle for air. But their private war is interrupted by an impatient voice. Would you just take care of him already? Someone barks from the sidelines. He's unarmed. How useless can you be?
Desperation creeps into the masked fighter's voice as he grips his opponent. Damn it, he mutters, feeling control slip away. Just drop this whole thing, the blonde pleads, but it's too late for mercy. From the shadows, a paper-bagged figure watches with interest. Well, I guess I should thank you for that, he observes. But another voice cuts through the tension like a blade. That's rich coming from you. The confrontation reaches fever pitch as accusations fly like bullets. You have his damn face, the masked figure screams, his rage consuming all reason. But the blonde fighter stands firm, defending someone named Makia with desperate conviction. Makia would never kill someone. He insists, even as his opponent blames his brother for everything. I hate that bastard, echoes through the red-tinted chaos. You should have stayed dead. The words ring out like a death sentence. But danger strikes from behind as a warning cry pierces the air. Rexy, careful. The young fighter spins, just in time to see the blade descending. Crap, he gasps, realizing how close death came to claiming him. A splash of red stains the ground. Sometimes the past refuses to stay buried. Rex's powerful grip closes around his enemy's collar as fire seems to burn behind them. The masked figure's eyes go wide with terror, his confidence shattered in an instant. See, Claude, he stammers, as if speaking the name might protect him. Rex's response is simple and chilling. Claude, he repeats, and in that single word lies a promise of vengeance long overdue. Horror washes over the blonde fighter as he turns back in alarm. Blood drips from his opponent's gloved hand. But whose blood? The knife flies through the air with a sharp thock, aimed with deadly precision. Not again, he whispers, his worst fears materializing. Rex lies motionless nearby. History has a cruel way of repeating itself. Golden light surrounds the young fighter as he becomes airborne, but victory turns to defeat in seconds. He crashes to the ground,
red spreading beneath him like spilled paint. "Not again," he cries, the words torn from his soul. Meanwhile, the masked figure's confidence crumbles. "I'm dead when he finds out," he mutters. A hand grips another with urgent tugs. Something bigger than this fight is coming. The violence escalates beyond all control as allies turn against each other. "This has gone too far," someone shouts, trying to push the masked fighter away. But mercy is a luxury they can't afford. What happened to wanting him alive? Comes the bitter question before another brutal punch sends the red-coated fighter crashing down. Thud! "What have you done?" he gasps from the ground. POW and stomp echo like thunder as the masked figure hits the ground hard. The green-skinned man with yellow hair stands over him, his stern expression brooking no argument. "Get out of the way," he commands with absolute authority. The masked figure looks up from his defeated position. "You don't have time to be beating the crap out of me," he pleads. Even in defeat, the clock keeps ticking. "Show your face," the blonde hero demands, his voice cutting through the yellow-lit tension. "You're the reason this mess is still here." The threat hangs heavy in the air, both a warning and a promise. The masked figure's surprise is evident as his eyes widen. "Consider this a warning," the hero continues with chilling sincerity. "If he dies, you're more screwed than any of us." Rex lies gasping on the ground, his body broken but his spirit fighting. The muscular man with the yellow-green mask kneels beside him, concern evident in his posture. "Hey, you still alive?" he asks gently. Rex's heavy breathing fills the silence as he struggles to focus. "Desmond," he whispers, searching for his friend. "Take it easy, Rex," comes the reassuring reply. "What do you need?" "If this is the end," the exhausted fighter gasps, "then I only have one regret." The moment turns solemn as he prepares for his final confession. "Not getting to try the cherry choco chip ice cream," he admits with heartbreaking sincerity. Bonk! The sudden interruption shatters the gravity as pain replaces poetry. "Oi, that really freaking hurt," he exclaims. Even death scenes need better timing. Under the spotlight, the defeated masked figure lies dazed while his opponent contemplates the absurdity. "Geez," he thinks, "did this guy really steal the face of a wanted criminal?" The realization hits like a cold wave. "I can't believe I'm about to help potentially one of the most dangerous blanks in the country." But mercy trumps fear. "We can't take you to a hospital," he decides. "Let's get you home." A yellow-gloved hand extends in an unexpected gesture of peace. "Oh, thank you," comes the grateful response, warmth replacing the earlier violence. But confusion still lingers as the blonde figure's expression shifts to surprise. "Excuse me?" he asks, his mask unable to hide his bewilderment. After all this chaos, after all this blood, what happens when the fighting finally stops? Some questions have no easy answers.